Hello, y'all. I'm going to be presenting about why a high school should get Chromebooks. I'm so sorry I'm having to do it this way. My screencast does not work super well, so we're just going to have to click through it manually and hope that you can see the slides through the pixels. I know that it gets kind of sketchy when you're videoing a video. So Chromebooks for our high school, how a technological addition can better our students' futures. So this device is going to be implemented specifically for those in grades 10 through 12, so the high school age. I would go ahead and implement it also for 9th grade too, but I guess this would be dependent on how that particular high school splits up its grades in high school. So this type of Chromebook, this type of technological advancement would definitely improve the educational experience for both students and for faculty. So that's why I believe that it's a good choice for our district. We're going to try to solve the problem, and the problem here is that by the time students reach high school, they're doing way more writing, more remote learning, and more projects than ever before in their educational careers. Without the use of personal computers or laptops, students are definitely bound by large and outdated computer labs and limited availability of school-based technology. The school cannot necessarily guarantee that each student is going to have access to pieces of technology, and therefore teachers have trouble assigning projects that utilize personal devices like laptops or cell phones if they can't themselves guarantee that a student has access to that type of technology. Such kind of problems lead to issues with teachers keeping up or students keeping up with their expected and assigned course load. If students are assigned, for example, a typed essay, but they don't have access to a personal or home computer, then they would have absolutely no ability to write the essay outside of class, which would definitely put them at a disadvantage, both to fulfill the class requirements and in the eyes of their peers. If their peers are able to complete assignments that they are not because of their family's lack of technology. The disadvantage only grows when you factor in research opportunities as well. And research, of course, can span more than just the English department, whereas essays are mostly English or language specific. Research goes along with certain science projects or even social studies projects that students would be assigned to. But again, without those personal computers at home, they would have very limited access to do such research. Limitations like that make keeping pace with one's peers nearly impossible for any student who does not have the technological resources that they need. So in order to kind of bridge the gap between this problem and a prospective solution, as a school district, how could we solve this problem? And the answer is definitely school-issued technology. By taking this problem of limited technological resources into as our school district, our own hands, the school is able to not only solve this problem, but also control this problem. The Google-based Chromebook system here outlined gives our school system control in the following areas. First, acceptable use policies. So the school would be kind of in charge of what a student can and cannot view, especially when they're on the school's Wi-Fi network. For example, we could block YouTube if we think that YouTube would be a problem. They can also keep track of what a student is or is not looking at, which I know this is kind of a blatant statement, but obviously in the high school age, students are going to begin to struggle with things like pornography, and we could make sure, or at least track where each student is going based on their website browser history, and we could block them or address the problem of searching inappropriate sites and things like that. So it would give the school kind of control over that too. It wouldn't just give a device into the hands of an irresponsible student. Again, security policies, yes. Variable pricing that can best meet our district's needs and abilities, collaborative policy, site blocking, site tracking, and default computer management. Those are all benefits of this solution. So the cost for Chromebooks, they have a relatively low per unit cost, and they're incredibly durable, which lead to fewer repairs and maintenance costs. In contrast to, say, iPads, where if you drop it, on a corner, on one of its rectangular corners, then it would shatter the screen, and you've got to get that thing repaired, and that happens often, let me tell you. Google no longer charges charges for software changes, and the overall price is about 70% lower than the cost of actually owning a traditional PC. So the overall pricing approximates to about $20 per Chromebook per month. And after 3 years, the school is given all new Chromebooks and will be able to keep all used Chromebooks at no extra charge, which is a huge deal, because then they would be able to, sell Chromebooks back to their students, etc. So how are we going to implement this system? Google directly supplies, all software updates, hardware and operating system updates, and total tech support, which takes the technological responsibility out of the school's hands. The Chromebooks themselves are web and cloud-based and incredibly user-friendly, so all students have to do is turn on their Chromebook and access their school's email account, and they're instantly connected to their own Chromebook. Now, this is huge. Teachers are going to have to spend way less time teaching their students how to use these new devices because it's so user-friendly. And because tech support is Google-based, our school will not need to employ an extra tech support person, thus cutting costs directly. Students will be impacted by this, obviously, and will have access to a high-quality personal device in school, at home, and on the road, which is going to be great for those traveling athletes with those, big 2-hour bus rides to and from games at the end of the day. Students will be able to complete assignments and conduct research, even if their family cannot afford a desktop computer or personal device. The student will have technology that is provided by the school and will therefore never experience the disadvantage of having a laptop that's lower or higher quality than their teachers and peers. Technology will be school-wide. And Chromebooks are so user-friendly. And if all students have the same laptop, students will be able to help each other with any technological difficulties that arise, which goes back to that tech support issue raised a second ago. This will also impact teachers very clearly. Teachers will be able to create interactive Google-based documents, forms, and assignments that will be readily accessible to all students and faculty members. Teachers are going to be less responsible for tech support, as previously stated, and teachers will be able to assign homework and schoolwork without concern for the individual's technological limitations. And there are the sources found on the Google homepages. Thank you so much.